Well, hello there. I am Taylor, and you are watching the Surviving Maine reunion show. I am here with 12 Surviving Maine 2019 players and one host, Liza Stratton, to talk about everyone's reactions to the show and to some of the interesting moves that many of these players made. You're also going to see some never before seen footage and outtakes, and we're going to have a ton of fun. All right, so before I introduce the cast, let's all give a warm round of applause to the host and creator of Surviving Maine, Liza Stratton.
Hi.
Liza, how are you?
I'm good. I'm excited to see all of you guys and get a chance to hear what everyone has to say.
Yes, awesome. I have a couple of questions for you.
Okay.
How long did it take you to put everything for season 2 together, like challenges and everything?
Yeah, so we did season 1, and then I have a really hectic work schedule in the summer, so I take the summer off. And then by the end of August, early September, I start really planning. And, we spend the weekends and the evenings and in between my actual job getting ready all the way up until the event in May.
Okay. The question people are dying to know, when is season 3 happening?
Well, it was supposed to happen last May, and then it was supposed to happen this May. And that obviously didn't happen. So we're aiming for next May. Probably later in the month, and I have been planning a little bit here and there, but full-blown planning is gonna come after summer.
I can't wait. Are you still accepting applications?
Yeah, we'll accept applications until like January.
Awesome.
And that's up, it's pinned to the top of the Facebook page, so you can find it right when you get there.
So go to facebook.com/survivingmaine and you'll see it there. Awesome. Okay. Thanks, Liza.
Yeah.
All right. Let's get to this cast of amazing players we have with us tonight. Tricky. Tricky, how are you?
You're giving a spotlight to 12 Surviving Maine players. You know we're going to take this, run with it, and give it a Broadway show in Vegas, right?
You might be the only one to do that. Well, you and Jazzy, right?
Exactly.
Right. All right. Tricky. We have Sarah with us. God damn it. Oh, Sarah, you're muted.
Oh, yeah, you told me to mute because I wouldn't shut up if I wasn't muted.
I will mute you next time I need you to mute. Hi, Sarah.
Hello.
Good to see you.
Good to see you guys. I'm so happy to be here and see everybody,
Yay. All right, we have Emily.
Hello.
Hi, Emily. How are you?
Good.
Fantastic. We have with us Toby.
Waiting. Hey, Taylor. Hey, everyone. Great to be back.
Great to see you. Looking good. Oh, there's a baby.
That's that guy
Oh,
from many years ago.
nice. All right, Toby. We also have Justin.
How's it going, everybody? I just recovering from some surgery, but I wouldn't miss the Surviving Maine reunion show for anything. So it's good to see everybody.
Amazing. And Jess is next. Hi, Jess.
Hi. Hi, everyone.
Great to see you. The Idol Queen. And, oh gosh, who's next? Becca? Yeah.
Hey,
Becca's here.
I'm here. How's it going?
Awesome. Great to see you.
You too.
And Becky, my wife, in the spotlight. There you go. Hi, Becky.
Hello. Nice to see everybody.
Great to have you here. tonight. And gosh, who is next? Oh my God. Jazzy's here.
Hello, everybody. I'm excited to be here.
Yay.
I love you all.
All right. And our third place, Mr. Congeniality himself, bang, bang, pop, pop. Tony.
Bang, bang, pop, pop. It's a reunion.
Awesome. All right. Our runner up, where is he? By a hair, or now many hairs, Cameron.
Hi, everyone. Taylor, I share your nervousness. This feels a lot like Final Tribal Council. Hopefully I don't screw it up again.
I will screw it up for all of us. Don't worry. And our winner of Surviving Maine 2019, Brandon's here.
Hello.
Hello.
So happy to be here.
Okay. Great to have you all here. There were some people who couldn't make it. There were some people I didn't invite. Oh, well. We are all looking forward to hearing from each and every one of you tonight. But first, I just went through everyone's names, but I have a feeling some of you still might not remember everyone's names correctly. So why don't we take a look at this?
My name is Forest Dale. A dale is a small forest or low-lying valley. My hippie parents thought they had a sense of humor.
I forgot his name. Sorry. Don't put that on camera.
We took Aaron. We didn't want to take all red because we wanted to be able to knock out one of their stronger players. Aaron's trying to sell us a bunch of BS, really. She's an anthropologist, so she studies people and behavior, so we're not falling for any of her stuff.
Are you talking about Jessica?
Oh, Jessica, yeah, we keep calling her Aaron. I don't know why.
That's okay, I just didn't...
I think that Beth is still a real alliance. Nope, I said her name wrong, so what the fuck? Becky, Jesus.
Patrick wants Kim gone. So what we're thinking of doing?
Who the fuck's Kim?
Cameron.
Oh.
I don't want to...
I think if we really genuinely slipped along,
Yeah.
Colby will go out with the everyone.
Toby. Yeah, so the plan at Tribal right now is it's going to be to take Sarah out. Sarah thinks we're taking Alex out. Alex.
Who's Alex?
Tony.
Can you say that sentence over again?
I would say Colby because he's the next hit right now. Every time Justin or John wanted anything, they would go find Colby. And every time they wanted to talk about anything, they would find Colby. That's Toby. Toby. I want to call him Toby.
Sarah thinks we're writing Alex's name down.
There's no Alex.
My word, why do I keep calling her that? According to Aaron, it's 1, 2. Really? Or possibly even 1, 2, 3. But that's Aaron. She's lying. Yeah, it's the title. Yeah. Jess. Jessica. She's like done it like 100 times.
I always want to call him Bill, but his name is Justin. It would be great if Jess would flip, but you call her Aaron one more time.
Yeah.
I will lose my shit and not let anyone call her.
Tony, Alex.
Okay.
6 votes. 4. 4. Alex.
Who's Alex? God damn it.
Do we want to try?
God damn it.
No. Oh my God, Jessica.
You know how I keep hitting you guys for saying the wrong name to people? I keep calling you Philip in my mind. It's been really difficult.
All right, I have questions. Skidder tribe, let me just put you all. Yeah, because you guys were really bad with names. Okay, I have questions about the Aaron name, okay? I saw some theories floating around that the Skidders may have thought Jess's name was Aaron because they misheard the name Karen, that Lombard kept screaming whenever they won. Can you tell us, Justin, why you actually thought Jess was Aaron?
Honestly, I have no idea. I remembered it that way and it stuck in my head that way, and I just couldn't get out of my head. And probably similar to some of the other people, they just remembered a name a certain way, and you're tired and you're not thinking about things, and she became Aaron to me for some strange reason, and honestly, I can't tell you why.
And Toby, where did Alex come from?
Same as Justin. I don't know. I remembered it one way, and that's where it went. And clearly, I said it over and over and over again.
And over.
Tony, good to see you.
Emily, what about Philip?
Random. But we're meeting everyone at once, and it's extreme high pressure at all times. So you assign a name to someone, and they've got it. Boom.
That's so interesting how our brains work. All right. One person that I bet none of the Skidders knew his name is Tricky. Let's talk to Tricky.
Oh, I came back just in time. I actually cut
you
out
were
for a
out.
bit.
Tricky, you were the second Lombard voted out of the game. What went wrong, Tricky?
I want to say that I played too much of an emotional game, not really strategic. And looking back on it, I think it really shows. I really just were relying too much on other people to solve my problems and not taking enough initiative to solve my own problems. And at the same time, I was just, because of that, making very poor decisions.
Yeah, I mean, you went after Cameron, which was kind of wild.
Right. I mean, the reason I went after Cam was literally because Cameron was the very last person to talk to me about starting something with him and Nick. And at that point, I had already promised to Jazzy, Sarah, Tony, and Becca. So at that point, I'm like, you're too late, man. You're too late. And just when it came to Nick coming up to me and saying, I need a name, I did not want to give away the 5-person thing we had made. So I threw out Cameron. Okay. And looking back at it now, I think it was just, I did not really know where the chips all fell at that point.
Mm-hmm. I'm curious, now that you've seen the full show, who do you think you would have voted for to win if you had been on the jury?
The final 3 still stays the same?
Right.
Here's the thing, I'm torn because they're all 3 are very deserving. I still think I would give it to Brandon though. No offense to Cam, I respect that under the radar game.
All right, fair enough. Good to talk to you, Tricky.
I'm glad I voted you out, Tricky.
I'll get you back.
All right. The first major event that you missed, Tricky, was the swap. So I want to talk about this. And I know that a couple of people have things to say about the swap. Tricky, do you want to fight?
I really wish Jasmine had quit before I went out. That's probably my one regret.
Your one regret is getting voted out before blonde Jasmine quit.
I wish she had quit because then the swap changes. I think literally we could have seen a shakeup and I make it to the swap and then everything changes at that point.
I think a lot changes. Yeah. A lot changes.
It was just one away.
So let's talk about this. Can everybody see that? I want to go through what happened here. Okay. So we have Katie on Bateau as the captain, Cameron, new captain of New Skidder, and Sarah, captain of New Lombard. And what happens? Katie gets to go first. We're going to walk through this whole thing, and then I have questions, okay? Katie goes first. She immediately picks Justin. No one can blame her for that. A very tight alliance and a strong competitor. Cam goes next. He chooses Brandon. Sarah's turn. She obviously chooses Tony. Just kidding. What? Sarah, what? She chooses Toby. What? Everyone, the camera catches Cam and Brandon giving each other looks like, what has happened? Katie and Justin are frantically whispering, oh my gosh, they took our Toby. And it's Katie's turn. They decide to try to get out a very strong Lombard person in Jess. Smart strategic choice for them. Or was it? We'll find out. Cam's turn. He takes Becca. Sarah's turn again. Obviously, she's taking Tony. Oh no, Jazzy. Oh no, she doesn't choose them. She chooses Forrest, of course, because Toby says, hey, you know who's good at challenges? Forrest. Yeah, take Forrest. Oh, I can't wait to meet Forrest. He's so interesting, Sarah says. Sarah, you will get a chance to defend yourself. Don't worry. But right now, we're talking about other things first. Katie then and Justin choose John. And that is where my first question is going to come up. So, Justin, I'm wondering, since Katie's not with us, why did you guys decide? Because here's my question, right? Right before the swap, I have two confessionals, one from you, one from Katie, and you're each talking about how you don't trust John. And then you choose him to be on this tribe of 4. So can you just tell me like what went into that decision?
Yeah, I mean, I know that Becky took this decision personally and it made her think that she was at the bottom. But in reality, what we were doing is we were getting people that we wouldn't mind voting off from Skidder. Like me and Katie were tight and we were not going to vote each other off. So it was going to be a strong Lombard. And then if it came down to another, then it would be John. So that was our strategy with that.
I think that was a very wise strategy and it makes complete sense. Good job, Justin.
just to be clear, I see that now. Like watching
Good,
it, I totally understand.
Yeah. And with the idol as well, we didn't give it to her, but had they gone to tribal council, we probably would have given you the idol there as well too.
I don't.
But you hadn't gone to tribal council. But we won't get it.
I would hope so. I would hope that's what would happen. I think that would have been a smart play too. But who knows? I have no opinions. I have no opinions tonight. But I do think that was smart, Jess and John. Didn't work out, but in the moment, it was a smart strategic decision. So let's go back and finish this out. Next is Cameron's turn. Cameron, you will get a chance to defend yourself next. What's going on right now? We have the Bateau tribe that has 3 original Skidders and 1 Lombard. Cam knows Jess has an idol. He's not worried about this. He thinks if Bateau goes to tribal, one of these original Skidders is going to go home. Smart thinking. Cam has 3 original Lombards on this new Skidder tribe. There are 2 original Lombards and 2 original Skidders left to choose from. These are 2 tribes of 5 now. Katie gets no more picks. 2 tribes of 5. You have a Lombard with 1 all by herself with 2 Skidders, right? Just looking at numbers alone, the smart choice here for Cam would be, as an objective outside viewer, would be choose Emily and Becky. Like choose Emily, let Sarah take Tony. Then choose Becky, let Sarah have Jazzy, whichever order, it doesn't matter. It would be to keep Lombard numbers strong. That's what the obvious choices would be. But Cameron chooses Jazzy. So now there's 4 original Lombards on this tribe of 5. Sarah gets Tony. And then there's just 2 reds left. So no matter what, Cameron has cut the throat of Sarah, perhaps on purpose. I don't know. We'll find out in a minute, Cam. He's cut the throat of Sarah. He's also potentially cutting his own throat if there's just one skidder on this tribe to get rid of, and you know you're going to go to at least 2 chances of going to tribal council at this point before the merge, right? So then you're going to have to eat one of your own. So Cameron, tell me, what were you thinking when you made these choices? Because there has been some criticism.
Oh, has there been some criticism to the point it even made the previously on Surviving Maine, Cameron's an idiot. That's the part where I really lost it. I was like, are you kidding me? Like, I think I broke it down perfectly, actually, Taylor, to plug your podcast that you do with us all. But I broke this down perfectly. It's at about the 48-minute mark of my 2-hour podcast. So obviously no one wants to listen to me talk for 2 hours. But if you just want to hear me break this down, it's at minute 48.
Not that you were paying attention and taking
Not
notes.
that I was paying attention or like preparing exactly for this moment. But really what happened there was, I mean, at that moment when we're at 3-3, you know, Sarah has picked 2 red players, and she specifically picked Toby first, who she had been talking to and talking about on our tribe. And so what starts going through my head, and I'm also talking this through with Brandon and Becca, is do we trust Sarah anymore? You know, the numbers and math all make sense what you're laying out, Taylor, but I think you have to start questioning trust and who you actually, you know, believe is with you and blue strong and everything like that. So when she picks 2 reds in a row, especially when she picks Forrest, I think I could have forgiven if it was just Toby and then she went with the blue, but when she picks Toby and then Forrest, who is like, I mean, the craziest person out there, you know, you can't trust her anymore. And so then I had to make the decision of, do I still continue to let her take Jazzy? Because I was specifically not picking Jazzy so that Sarah could pick her. And the problem with that is Jazzy had my idol in her pocket. And so I'd rather have Jazzy on my side, knowing that Jazzy, you know, is in my sight. I knew both Jazzy and Brandon were kind of squirrely, so I wanted to keep my eye on both of them. And to me, I thought, you know, having a strong 4 was a better idea, and the chips fall where they may, rather than letting Jazzy go over there and all of a sudden maybe Sarah and Jazzy flip together, and now my idol is on the other side working against me, rather than like together. The other kind of thing with that is I don't know, at that point, especially when you're not trusting Sarah, 3-2 is not as safe as you think it is. You know, you already saw Brandon make a final 3 with Emily and Becky. So I think I would have maybe been screwed, and maybe he flips earlier if it is 3-2, whereas 4-1, no one's flipping. Really, the only thing you have to worry about is an idol, which we took care of by searching that coat. So I don't know. It wasn't like the numbers that you're saying make complete sense, but I think you're taking away the like logic of what happened in those first 6 picks.
All right, Sarah, it's your turn. You get to have your say. What is your defense? Because what Cameron said makes sense. You do not look trustworthy at this point.
It totally makes sense. No, it had nothing to do with trust. I did not want Toby going with Katie and Justin. Duh. Like, that was obvious. Like, if those 3 would have been together on one tribe, that tribe was going to win. To me, like, all the challenges, those 3 were like, I mean, if you listen to some of the interviews and stuff with you guys before, we had talked about how like there was all these like big powerhouse people on that red tribe. Well, those were the powerhouse people, and the last thing we wanted was those 3 to be together. So I was like, I want Toby. Plus, I'd already chatted with Toby a couple of times, like during challenges, and I liked him. He's a cool guy. My mistake was when Toby was like, pick Forrest. He's really good at challenges. And I'm like, oh yeah, he is. And I'm also like, then the Sarah in me comes out, or I'm like, oh, that would be fun to get to meet Forrest. So
that was completely strategic on my part. You know that. I mean,
yeah.
Justin can vouch for this too. Forrest had no clue what he's doing out there. I mean, and in our votes, half the time you tell him what to do 2 minutes before the vote, and he'll just do it. Justin can vouch for that. He was a guy.
Yeah. Yeah, I shouldn't have listened to you. I never regret picking you. I never like picking Toby was like, there's no way we were going to let Justin, Katie, and Toby be on the same tribe. And then I was just like, ooh. And so, yeah, Cameron's got like all this strategic stuff going on, and I'm over here going, hey, let's have a good time. Let's win challenges. And I mean, granted, we did win the best challenge.
The spaghetti reward.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. And so, Sarah, because you, and maybe you can boil it down to just because you chose Forrest, maybe Cameron trusts you if you choose Jazzy or Tony instead. Maybe, we'll never know. But you do get yourself voted out here. And I know it was a sad moment. I don't know if you saw this. Let me just share this really quick. But Tony got a little teary-eyed.
Good job. Good game. You're awesome.
A few more to go.
That was a sad one.
So did you know in the moment that Tony was a little bit teary-eyed there when you got voted out?
No, I was ugly at him. But I mean, in hindsight, like looking at it now, I mean, I'm like, I would have done it too. I mean, if I see why he did it, but I was like, he didn't even have to write my name down. He knew I was going anyways. He didn't even have to write my name down.
Can I say too that like I misinterpreted who Sarah was. I thought that you were a player. I thought that you were a cutthroat. And from the way your teams ended up, I don't know why, but I thought that you were a super cutthroat player, to be honest. And I didn't believe any of your friendliness. Sarah was completely friendly and inviting and blah, blah, you know, like the whole time. And I was shut down at that point. But Sarah was great.
Yeah, that was my biggest regret in the game, pitting Tony against Sarah and then choosing, I mean, Tony, no offense to you, but I thought you would be someone that could just be manipulated throughout that thing and for the rest of the game, and completely read
Tony
that.
was cutthroat.
Completely read that wrong. Yeah, and that's my biggest regret in the game for sure.
Tony, do you have anything to say for yourself?
Yeah, okay. So that round was crazy because like me and Sarah, we had really good connection. Just not in game wise, like personal wise. And just the way how Cameron was picking out and then the way Sarah was picking out at the beginning, it did throw me off for a loop because I thought Tony, okay, I'm being called. I'm going over to Sarah. No, it's Toby. So then Cameron's like doing his math his way. So I kind of got thrown off, but like my connections with Sarah was real. I kind of wish that in this game that Sarah, no offense to you, but you're an awesome person, but I kind of wish that like you would have thought game wise, like long term, because then we would have been set up and we would have had majority and we probably could have had Jazzy on our side. So, I mean, who knows how this little switch up could have gone, but I mean, it was emotional, you know.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, it was emotional.
So those were tears that you were wiping
Yeah,
away when you
yeah,
had to vote her out.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, Tony was not the only person to cry during this game. We have a lot of tears falling, especially around episode 12 and then continuing on. So let's take a look at this.
This is all very emotional. I'm just like winded emotionally.
I'm a little emotional about it because I'm tired and I cry when I'm tired. So I'm like trying not to cry. I don't know why I'm crying.
I'm gonna cry now. And we've both cried already. So.
We've both bawled in the bathroom. At least you didn't have to inhale fart juice. Like, I was like, this is the worst place to hyperventilate.
This game been one of the best things ever. Sitting here, being put in the final three. I've never. Hold on.
I'm not crying because I'm sad I got voted off. I'm just crying because of this beautiful experience.
All right. All right, town criers. That's everybody in the final six basically cried a lot. What do you guys have to say for yourself? You know, a lot of the footage was lost, which is unfortunate for me. So we don't get to compare who cried the most or who cried the ugliest. Were any of you disappointed that so much crying footage was lost, Brandon?
No, I was not disappointed that crying footage was lost whatsoever. I don't want to see that. I literally, during the final tribal council, I literally like stopped watching when I cried.
I am so glad that they lost the hyperventilating in the bathroom footage, because Nick the cameraman heard me like crying in there and came in with his stupid camera. So I'm really glad that he lost that footage.
Oh, I'm so devastated. We could have had these things. Fucking Nick. Oh man. Cameron, was there any other crying that you did that wasn't on?
No, but for the record, I did like everyone crying because I did like to make girls cry. But no, I was glad you said that you lost Jess's camera, and I feel like I did a lot of my confessionals, or so whatever. Yeah, not you, but the Jess's camera's footage was lost, and I feel like I cried to Jess multiple times during that like final tribal council area. So like, yeah, that's good. If I just turned away, that's fine. You know, not bad.
Hold on, we have to talk about the girls crying question.
Okay, go ahead. Let's do it now.
I didn't know what was going on. I was on the jury. My crying footage was lost. Cameron, I'm sorry. First of all, since I watched all the stuff, I saw like right before I asked you this question, you're like, oh, this is horrible. I hate everybody being sad. I'm sorry that I asked you that question, but also you are such a poised guy that like, if anyone could handle a question like that to like break you out of a poised, rehearsed speech, you could. And honestly, the fact is I voted for you. Like I completely won over. You know what? And I don't know you. I don't know Brandon. I don't know fucking Tony in a field. But like, you know, Tony, you did great. Holy smokes, in that field. And Cameron, you got my vote, like won over. I can't believe you didn't win. And I feel super bad if that question at all influenced other people, because I don't think it should have.
We can talk about that later.
Yeah, okay.
We'll talk about the way people voted later on. Cameron, did you want to say anything else?
No, I mean, just thank you for saying that. I mean, yeah, like in the moment, that was like the scariest thing that's ever been said to me in my entire life. But like as soon as we got to the cookout and you were the smilest, like nicest person, I was like, oh, thank God. Like that was just like, you know, like it's the same thing with like Jazzy, like probably, you know, like thinking everyone hated
know each
her,
other,
and then like, you know, like she got out of the game and everyone was like, oh, we were about to like root for you to win. You know, it's like it's one of those things of like just turning it on and off. But like, yeah, that was the most frightened I've ever been in my life.
I'm so sorry, and it was your first
good.
question.
It was a good get. Like, that was hilarious in retrospect, but
yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
Okay, we've been doing this for a while now, so I'm gonna skip ahead. I want to talk about idols now. There were 6 total idols in the game, with one player getting half of them all to herself. But let's take a look at the one place that almost everyone checked for idols, and that was the voting booth.
Also, is there an idol here? Can I check? Oh. I don't see anything.
That's not one, right? You want to grab that? You want to play it? You can play it. That would be fun. I'm gonna check real quick because apparently everybody's checking in here, so don't mind us. We're all getting really paranoid now. I'm sure everyone else has been too. I'm gonna check again. I don't know why I'm doing this, but you never know. I'm so blind anyways, I don't even have my glasses. Alright, and I'm gonna do the same thing as last time, even though I know she just did. I'm gonna look one more time. Cause I'm desperate. Sorry if I smell.
All right. So everyone in the final 7 except Jazzy and Cameron looked there. I want to talk to the idol queens now. Jess and Jazzy. And if I can have one more, we can add Becky. All right. So our 3 idol queens. I don't know if you're all aware of this, but there has been an ongoing dialogue among Survivor super fans for a few years now that men tend to find idols because of gender norms at camp on CBS Survivor, but, but that was not the case here. So what do you think was the key difference between Real Survivor and Surviving Maine that led you all to be the major players in terms of finding idols?
My mind goes. Oh, go ahead.
Oh no, you go ahead.
No, go ahead, Jeff. You got it.
I was gonna say, I know, like going into it, talking to Jazzy, she was on point. She was like, "All right, we gotta look for these," and I know Cameron and Brandon had too. So they went into this like, "This is what you do," and I was like, "Yeah, okay, we do that." So I looked because a lot of them directed me at first because I didn't watch as much Survivor, and most of mine really came from just looking around and just like my eyes happened to catch them or I happened into it. So mine was the ones I did find were never searching. We're literally just look up and there it is.
So it was luck for you mostly.
Luck and I don't know, eyesight where.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry.
We just got a butt. We were mooned.
I love that. I saw it before.
Jake. I'm sorry if any children are watching. Oh my God. Speaking of idols, so before Surviving Maine started, I went up to camp with Sarah and her son like made these fake idols and hid them for us. And we like went around like practicing finding idols, which was super fun, but like helpful. And my idol was Lucky. I played it right. And very unlucky when I was digging through the buffs and gave it right to Jess, essentially.
Yeah, my idol was pure luck as well, obviously. But I mean, thinking of the first thing that came to mind when you asked that, Taylor, was like structurally, you know, we didn't have like probes and other people picking the players, like picking character types. So I think probably having a more random pick of people, of characters, of cast, probably played a role in that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting and insightful. With
Thank you.
with a with a queer person choosing everyone on the cast, there's not that like patriarchal thing overshadowing the whole season. We're getting different kinds of players. Liza, do you have anything to say about that?
Yeah, I think that like picking the cast is one of my favorite parts of the whole thing. Me and my girlfriend sit down and watch all of the videos of all the applicants, and we give everybody nicknames, and then we watch all of them and then go through and put them in hypothetical tribes. And yeah, I love that opportunity, especially because I mean, watching the videos, you don't really get much on who people are. So like you guys turned out to be so much more like a well-rounded, like incredible cast than I had ever anticipated. Yeah, and yeah, I'm just thankful for you guys. That's where this ends up. Thanks for picking us, Liza. Anytime.
Amazing casting, really, I think. I mean, it's so diverse, like regular Survivor, like 10 years ago. I don't feel like Survivor now is as diverse as it used to be, but our cast was so diverse. It made it so fun to watch.
Yeah, in personality types, so diverse. Yeah. Okay.
What were some of the nicknames people are asking? And I was thinking that same thing, Liza.
Let me
I don't
spotlight
think I
Liza
know
again.
off the top of my head.
Okay.
I think that Sarah's was something about her video being in a bar, right? Was that you, Sarah?
Probably.
No, Emily did hers in a bathroom of a bar.
Emily, it was Emily. Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
that's what it was.
I
It
was
like-
super
it was
drunk
like
when I
bathroom
sent
bar.
that in.
I love
And
it.
it was last
I was
minute.
drunk too.
Yeah, it was like midnight the night that they were due. It was good.
I want to talk to the full jury now. John showed up late. John, we will talk to you in a moment. Hi, John. Okay, let me just bring the full jury up here. All right. I want to know, jury, now that you've seen all the episodes, how many of you are still happy with the way you voted in the end? Would it good?
Yes.
Would anyone, now that you know everything that was going on, that you were previously unaware of, would you change your vote now?
I wouldn't change my vote, but I will say that seeing it all back again, like I was dead set on Cameron right to the end, and Emily and I mean, we had these conversations while we're sitting there waiting. We were dead set. We thought Cameron was running everything over there, and his gamesmanship was like to the max, and Brandon was just there. But watching it back, I mean, Brandon had 18 million alliances going on, and he didn't sleep at all, and like things were like he had a game. I wouldn't change my vote, but he makes it a lot closer, in my opinion, if I knew everything that went through here.
What did you vote for? Did you end up voting for Brandon?
I voted Cameron.
Okay, I did too. It was a big thing at the end, like the discussions between us all. Yeah.
Yeah, my vote was further solidified by watching this. Like, I knew in the game that Cameron was the strategy king, but seeing this, I saw that Brandon was also doing that. I had picked Brandon from the minute like he and I talked. I knew I was going to vote for him if he made it to the end. So, but this further solidified it that like he absolutely deserved to win, no doubt about it. So did Cameron. Like, you both did, but I wouldn't change my vote.
I was never voting for you, Tony. Sorry.
Tony,
you'll
get to talk later.
Tony, honestly, I stood in the field with Tony and tried to talk to him for like half an hour, 45 minutes, who knows at this point, but like Tony, unflappable. I watched other people try to turn him and I was like, nope, don't even try. Tony's unflappable.
I can say for me, the entire time, especially I think I was talking to Becca about it, the entire time it was constant back and forth. And every time one of you guys answered a question, we're like, oh, it's Brandon. Okay, this time it's going to be Cameron. And every time it was like back and forth. And watching the shows, it still makes me back and forth. Every time one of you comes on screen, I'm like, yes, Brandon. Oh, no, Cameron. So I feel like if I had waited 5 more minutes, I might have swapped it. I don't know. It was super hard for me to decide with that one. It almost wasn't like there was a favorite until I had to go and write it down. And I still feel like that watching it. It was incredibly hard. And I think because the games are so different, it makes it hard to compare them.
Yeah. Do you remember what was your what swayed you for that final vote?
I had voted for Brandon, and it was because sorry, Cameron. I thought he came off kind of rude in some of his comments that when he answered questions, it was much more of this mastermind of everything, even though I knew Brandon was doing a lot, Jazzy was doing a lot. I was trying to survive as hard as I could, and I feel like a lot of people were, and it just very much was like, I did this all, you're welcome, in a little bit, and I guess in the end, I was not a fan of that. That's how it felt, and so in the end, I went for Brandon.
Jazzy, you never even considered voting for anyone but Cameron. And Brandon heard you when you were voted out, whisper to Cameron, I'm voting for you in the end. What do you have to say about all that?
Well, I felt like if I made it to the end, that people would have had to vote for me because of the game that I played and not because of likability. So I felt very compelled to vote for who I felt like in the game played the best game strategically, which I still think was Cameron in the final three. Watching it though, I didn't give Brandon enough credit. There were things that he was doing behind my back that I didn't realize, and that was totally strategic on his part. So I think I would have given it a lot more thought now, but I would still vote for Cameron just because, like, if people were going to vote for me at the end, it would have not been likability. So that wasn't what I was going to vote for.
I would have voted you based on likability and strategic prowess. But I wasn't on the jury. Becca, you went in 90-10, 90 Brandon, 10 Cameron, and you were swayed by Cameron, but then you did end up voting for Brandon in the end. What do you have to say about that?
Yes, because when it came to Cameron, I thought I was letting too much of my bitterness get in the way, and a lot of the things that he was saying made me think he played maybe a stronger game, but at the end, Brandon played a great game as well, and I thought he really deserved to win. Yeah, I was very much like Jess, back and forth up until the very end, when I got in there. And I think I just went with my gut, who I thought deserved to win, who I wanted to win, and maybe who I felt a little less betrayed by. I don't know. I can't say for sure.
So there could have been some bitterness in there, maybe.
Who knows? And I specifically think I was going to vote for Cameron because I felt like I was making my decision based on bitterness, but still in the end, I just went with Brandon, and I thought that was the right choice, and I still do, even watching back.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's good because it's too late to change your mind.
Tricky made like the best point that I never, ever, ever had considered going into Surviving Maine. Me and my friend, the Butt, talked about it a lot. Tricky in the LRG talked about Adam Klein and whatever. If Tricky wants to talk about that right now, I friggin' love that. And I would change my strategy if I ever played a game again after hearing what Tricky said.
What'd you say, Tricky?
Yeah, so when I came into it, I got a lot of inspiration from kind of game bot players, kind of like the Adams and the Knicks, where their biggest philosophy was go to Survivor and make friends, because that's what's going to carry you to the end of the game. And that's what I really focused on more. I try to focus more on, like, are we connecting more so, or do we have a game plan?
Right. That makes sense. That cat is so cute. I'm sorry. I'm so distracted by the cute little sleeping cat there. Okay. I want to talk to the final three now. So
can I explain my vote real quick?
Yes, Justin. Actually, yeah, I should have talked to you before. Let's
okay.
Spotlight you. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, I had gone into it not knowing who I was going to pick, similar to a lot of the other players. I was swayed by Brandon when he talked about his hair and his socks, and I was like, wow, this guy really showed up and is taking this way more seriously, and he actually had a game. I didn't expect, or I didn't think that he did as much so until he really talked and told his side of the story. And when I talked to Cam, I asked him a question, and I wanted him to not agree with me. I asked him if he was with the weakest players, and it was obvious that Brandon wasn't a weak player, but he continued to take that mastermind strategic credit, which I do give him a lot of credit for that type of gameplay. But I also had seen Jazzy give him an idol, and he would have been removed from the game for that reason. So there were other players that were playing strong games that impacted his outcome, and it wasn't just all Cameron. So that's why I voted for Brandon.
Yeah, interesting. Thanks for those insights, everybody. Okay, let's bring up the final three so you can each have your final says here. Okay, so Cam, I'm gonna ask you a question first. The last time we saw you on the show was in your final words at the end of the finale, and you were pretty sad about losing. Understandably, it must be super hard to lose by just one vote. So how do you feel now, seeing all the things that Brandon was doing behind the scenes that you weren't aware of? How do you feel about losing to him by one vote?
I mean, I think to be honest, like at the time of Final Tribal Council, there was nothing shown on the show that I wasn't really aware of in terms of Brandon's game. Watching it all back didn't make it easier. I mean, it was like hard to stomach at the time. And I think in our interview, even like a month later, I was not happy and like about it. It was more just like the way that the final couple hours went, not the concept of losing, but more just like the concept of, you had to do a lot of these ugly things to then lose. Like if I had won, it was like, okay, that was like, there was a means to an end, but I just did that for no good reason at that point. I think watching the show, I think really definitely made it even more clear to me like how likable Brandon is. And so going into Final Tribal Council, the reason why I was trying to be like, I was the mastermind, I did X, Y, and Z, was to kind of pivot from Brandon. You know, I knew he was going to get the likable votes. I knew he was going to get the votes based on emotional decision, right? And that's kind of the area he was going to play in. So I wanted to play in a different area because I wasn't going to win those votes anyway. So I was trying to win the alternative votes. And it sounds like I lost votes doing that, which wasn't the plan. But I think watching the show, I mean, it definitely made it more clear of like, just the type of person Brandon is, and not less of like what he did, because I think I knew what he was doing. I mean, it wasn't, you know, we played a lot of the game together, so that wasn't the surprise.
Okay, and Tony, I can't remember how much of this I actually ended up putting in the episode, but in your final confessional, Tony, you said a couple things. You said you thought Cameron should have won, and then you also said you thought you should have won. So what do you think now? Would you rather have won, or would you rather had Cameron won?
Well, yes, I would have loved to have won, but I mean, these two guys, dude, they played hard. I go back, I put on Surviving Maine, dude. I've been watching these podcasts and this live reality games YouTube channel, dude. You go back, you watch, and everyone's playing hard. So like, mad props to Cameron, mad props to Brandon. You know, I would have loved to, you know, of it been a 5-2, but it was a final three, and these guys, they did their stuff.
Yeah, so if it had been a final two, it would have been, I mean, if Cam had won another challenge, it most likely would have been you and Cameron. Do you think you could have swayed people? You are very passionate when you talk. When you gave that final speech, I cried. I was standing there crying. Other people cried. I was like, oh my God, he's standing up. He's like really into it. Oh my gosh, Tony's going to get some votes. Sadly, you did not. But do you think you could have got votes if it had been you and Cameron in a final two?
Probably. I mean, who knows the scenario of a final three and final two, it could go any way. But like final three, dude, I think we all played our best that we could, and you know, I'm proud of it. I'm sure they are too. So I mean, I'm happy, dude. I'm very happy. So I mean,
I think everybody should be proud of the way they played, regardless of the outcome. Whatever. It's not real Survivor. It's not a fucking $1 million. Let's talk to Brandon, the winner. Brandon, you did win a like $500 voucher for airfare and 2 nights in a hotel. You said the last time I spoke to you, you were going to go to Vegas. And so did you take that trip to Vegas? Were you able to convince Cam to go with you and be your cuddle buddy again? Tell us what happened.
I did ask Cameron to go with me, and I think that was the plan. But yeah, it didn't work. There was an expiration date on the voucher, and it did not work out. So it's sitting in my room, and it is a nice little memory.
That is devastating. Probably the saddest thing to come out of COVID was the fact that you didn't get your trip. I'm sorry, that's
Right?
such a bad joke.
Yeah, I was gonna give when I figured out I couldn't go on the trip because of COVID, Surviving Maine 3 was actually still happening at that point. So I was gonna give my flight to a player, just any player who needed a flight to get here. But then it got canceled. So
All right. Anything to say about your win? Anything final words about that, or
I mean, I think Cameron kind of described it perfectly in the podcast, the LRG podcast. Like, it was definitely like Michelle Aubrey situation. And I went in like Michelle's my favorite winner. So for me, it's not a diss whatsoever. Like, I wanted to play like Michelle. But yeah, I mean, I'm more proud of the way I played now that I've watched it back than I was like when it actually happened. So
good. I'm glad, because I know you thought that even you thought Cameron deserved to win, and you didn't feel good about winning. So I'm glad that a lot of people, seeing the way you played, turned around a little bit, like, oh, maybe he did deserve it. Yeah,
There's
I
no
think he did.
deserve to wins either. I mean, I
just
think that's
did.
like a core tenet, like, is like the jury votes for who the jury votes for, and Brandon earned those votes, whether it was, you know, whatever the reasons were, he gave them what they needed to earn those votes. I mean, I think that's like I feel bad if you ever felt like you weren't deserving. You got the votes. Those are the votes. You earned them in some way, you know?
Well said. Couldn't say it better myself. Completely agree. All right. Now, we had a lot of laughs during Surviving Maine 2019. So let's take a look now at some of the things that made me laugh the most when I was editing the show, the blooper reel.
That triangle is really, where's the camera? I can't see it. Oh, over here.
Over here. Oh, it's like in the corner right here.
Oh, over here?
Yep.
Okay.
First of all,
Wait, I'll do it over here. I'm just gonna do this.
The 11th person.
The 11th person.
So I said that I would write my name. I would feel better if you did not.
Okay.
Well, I'm gonna have to write somebody's name.
I don't want to wear this. Not that gay.
I've told you I intend to be friends after this. If I do something like that to you, you're not going to want to be friends with me.
I'm friends with lots of snaky people.
Exactly. Do you want to tell us?
Because if I write her name down, I want her to know what the story was.
I
So
will
if I didn't get a chance,
specifically burn your eyes. I'm joking. I can't. Okay.
Take out her legs. She's not gonna play. Not her legs, but Jasmine. That was a really bad joke. Don't put that on scratch.
I'm ready for you. I'm ready. I need to go to bed.
Stuff out of control.
totally just finished the conversation.
Damn it, fuck.
So much.
There's so much paranoia right now.
am I being really loud?
No.
And shit, can they hear me? Oh, they're over there. Oh, she's watching me.
I can't do it now. I need to go to bed.
Other immunity items. Idols, yeah. Other people have idols.
Who?
Jasmine.
Can you guys get in one shot?
Oh,
Sorry.
Jasmine.
Huh. Be interested.
They brought up Forest. Sorry, there's a bug. I get distracted. I need to sleep. So it leaves, and like, hey, there's a slug.
But I just don't know, so I just have a lot of things going on in my brain. I don't want to cause fights. It's a game.
My stomach just growled.
No, oh my god. Okay, none of that can be used. I will sue if that gets used.
The thing with me is that I don't think I'm smart. I'm just wit with impeccable timing.
All right. Now that we're all in a good mood, it's time for all of you to have your say. If any of you have questions for each other, just use the thingy to raise your hand, and I will give you the floor to say or ask whatever you want. And Liza will moderate this. I will just mute myself and unmute anyone
I'll try.
who. Okay, you call on people. Can we talk to John first? Actually, see if
Yeah.
he has anything to say. Okay, John, we didn't get to talk to you before. Hello.
I'm sorry for joining late. I'm not very. I don't pay attention to details sometimes, so sorry about that.
You're a paid professional trained liar, so that's just how you go through life, right?
Ironically, that's probably the thing I do least well.
I mean, well, that's funny because you were the most loyal, I think, Skidder member. You never even considered turning on your fellow Skidders and trying to do something with Jess, even though you were kind of on the bottom in that Bateau tribe. Do you think that do you think that you were misunderstood? Why did people not trust you?
Well, I mean, it's hard to come back if you're a lawyer. I mean, that does take you a long way. And I tend to be on the quiet side, so that probably didn't help either. So just taking notes, and next time I'll keep that in mind.
Yeah, talk more next time, and don't tell anyone you're a lawyer.
I've tried that. That doesn't work either.
That doesn't work either. All right, John, good to see you. And Liza, call on whoever you want, and I will unmute them.
Okay, great. Who wants to go first?
Brandon and...
Go ahead, Sarah.
So I think the biggest thing, I just want to say thank you. Kid just brought me a drink. Thank you, Liza, everybody, Taylor, you're... So, all right, okay, let me just start over. So my getting voted out before the actual jury was a blessing because I got to hang out with your family, Liza. Your family was phenomenal. I got to hang out with Taylor. I got like the best of all the worlds. I got to play Survivor. I got to like be part of production. I mean, I remember, I don't know who it was. One night somebody was like, hey, do you want to go on a confessional? I'm like, fuck yeah. So we went and did confessionals. And then when the whole jury was happening, I was allowed to hang out with the jury, but because I respect the game, I was told like, we can't talk game, but I could like kind of hang out with them and I could listen. And then like, I don't know, I got the best, I got everything. So getting voted out early wasn't the end of my whole Survivor world. It was just, I got everything. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Tony, Toby, Emily, and Boris.
I remember taking you on that first confessional and just how psyched you were. And I was like, you can come as long as you don't talk. And we knew that was going to be a struggle, but you did it. So go ahead, Brandon.
Oops, I was on mute. I just wanted to say from the video that we just watched that it like solidifies the fact that like I wanted to play with Emily and I'm still bitter that I never got to meet her.
See, I was a different person in confessionals than I was with the other players, and I regret that because I was super honest in confessionals and like snappy and whatever. In real life, I was not like that, and I think that that's a lesson for myself, not to be or to be myself and get to know people, whatever. I didn't do that. I wasn't outwardly like social. So,
well, I definitely hope we met. I still wish we met earlier so that we could have hung out a little bit longer than like the hour that we had.
I have to say, well, I didn't even get to pick Emily. Like I just got like defaulted Emily, but that was the best thing. She was we're just like heating up rocks next to fire and putting them in her sleeping bag, and like she such an interesting person to speak to. I love.
Well, honestly, Sarah, like you made it possible for me to become less of an introvert than I was. And can I give a shout out to Becky, who like randomly, good scheming, picked me out of a field, of people and invited me to be like your friend randomly. That was otherwise, honestly, I would not have opened up, to both of you. And that's just, it's personalities all the time and balancing that. I'm someone, give me 2 days, then I'll get voted out. But like,
well, I'm glad I got you on day 2 because
yeah,
I enjoyed every minute with you.
Same, agreed. You made me laugh the whole time. It was a good choice picking you. I can't see hands, so I don't know if anybody's raising their hand with something else. Go ahead, Tricky.
So I just had 2 things. One was a question, and I wanted to go back to that Nick vote and just ask Jazz if there was a chance Cam was going to be voted out, would you have played the idol for him?
Definitely not that early, no.
And I just also wanted to say how much I loved watching the Lombard and especially Becca. Becca, I really think you played a great game, and especially towards the end, like you were like leading the charge, and I was just like cheering. I'm like, go Becca, go Becca, go Becca. I mean, I knew how it turned out, but it was so exciting to see you like launch the attack.
Well, thank you, because I felt like I was a little bit rude about it. So I appreciate that. I got that feedback from Sarah.
Oh, you muted yourself.
Oh, you're muted.
Sorry. I appreciate that because I didn't feel great about how jaded I was, and I felt like I was a little bit mean. So I'm glad it was well received by the audience.
I'm not sure anybody thought you were mean the whole time, just so you know. Especially after I listened to the podcast that you did with, was it the Movie Seller?
Yeah, yeah.
And that was just so on point to what I thought about you before, during, and after the game. So I'm pretty sure nobody ever once thought you did something mean to them.
Well, that's good.
No one going to ask us about our opinions about Forrest? Or is that okay? Okay, sorry.
No, you don't have to be quiet about it. We're just trying to keep it, not keep it anyway. We just want to be respectful. I want to be respectful, not we. I do.
It's all Liza.
I agree as well, because
in charge.
we have different circles, and sometimes, yeah.
So
We should
when
keep
we
it that
say
way, yeah.
like being respectful, are we like we just don't like because he brought himself out of the game, we just don't speak of him?
You're gonna edit this, right, Taylor?
He who shall remain unnamed and
Gameplay talk is fine. That's all we need.
He made the show interesting.
Oh, for sure.
It was.
I think it might have been interesting to interact with Forrest as another team member, but for the over and over situation, oops. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Are we not? We're not talking about him. Okay.
I will say I wanted to play with Forrest a couple of times throughout the game, but it was hard where he was just somebody who didn't watch the show. So that aspect alone made it tough to play with him because you knew you couldn't strategize with him in the way that you would need to.
That's the reason I wanted to play with him. And I'm not a gamer to the end, but I think I probably could have told him just about anything and he would have gone along with it.
well, that's how Boston Rob treated Philip Shepard in what season was that? Like 22 around
Redemption
there.
Island.
Yeah, Redemption Island. That's it. Right. Forrest was kind of the Philip Shepard and the coach and the Debbie.
Yeah, I wanted to play with him more because I got competitive because with the game where we like smashed
Yeah.
he was like, oh, it's funny they're sending you to go get it. And I was like, ooh, I wasn't going to go get it, but now I am. So I didn't get to see him too much. So I wanted to play hard against him, and then he got voted out. I never got too much interaction with him. I was never on a team with him.
Well,
but I was ready to play him.
For the record, I chewed his ass up and down when I was driving him to the creepy van that picked him up at the gas station because I told him, I straight up told him, I'm like, your jury spot was mine, you motherfucker. Sorry. I was pissed. But I don't know. He was a character. I'm really, really sorry, Eliza, that he kind of, I mean, I know how you took it personally. Like he like shit on your game, and that bothered me too. I chewed him out for that. Like, you don't come here and do all of this and then just blow it off like it's not a big deal. And so just so you know, he heard it from me.
I'm glad. I think my biggest worry in the whole thing was that, yeah, I took it personally. That's who I am as a person. I cry a lot. That happens. But I think that my biggest concern was that it was going to ruin the experience for everybody else. And I didn't want it to, I mean, my biggest fear is something in the game not working, right? And the game just halting because something's not working. So that, and then I didn't want any of you to feel the way that you did. And I didn't realize until I had seen the episodes that you guys were talking about like him coming back in the middle of the night. And after that episode, I was like, oh my God, like this whole time they were so worried that they're going to get like murdered in the woods in the middle of the night. And I had no idea.
Yeah, but I think, I mean, sorry, I'm just throwing it. Honestly, I think like Toby, Emily, like I would have never have thought that about him. He was just just a weird whack. Like, I don't want to say whack job, but he was just like a weird, unique person. And I don't regret playing with him. I really enjoyed playing with him. Like that was part of our game. It was very interesting.
He's lived a really hard life and continues to, I think.
I'm just pissed that he blew it off. He insulted Liza, and that was the ultimate thing. Like, he insulted her, insulted her game, he insulted her family, insulted her time. And that
I was in the jury, so I have no idea what happened. All I knew, all of a sudden, my horror of like, no, not Forrest being the next. I want silence for the next, like 6 hours or 4 hours, whatever, between the votes, was like, what's going on? Wait, no, bring Forrest over. Tell me what's happening. What? And I have no idea what happened still. Sarah, I know you drove him, but like I was sequestered and I had no idea what was going on except he wasn't coming over.
It was
So
good.
I
He
figured
needed
it
to
was
go.
extreme
He
and
needed to go.
that was realistic. Yeah.
And
Good
things
choice.
got ugly, and it was like, okay, let's get him out of there. And I don't remember all the details or how, like, time wise how everything happened, but I knew he pissed Liza off. Things were bad, and I was like, I will get him out of here. I will move him out of here. I think Forrest and I had a relationship, so I was able to come in and remove him from the situation. And I know we don't want to talk about this anymore. I'm
I
sorry.
see Tony's hand up. Did Tony have something to say?
Yeah, okay. So like playing with the Forest, it's crazy. Cause you go back watching this dude don't know a thing about Survivor. So it's kind of funny seeing him pick up like he don't even know what to do when you go to the voting booth. But like overall, he had really good connections. Forrest was a little bit out there, like completely out there. But I just didn't think like when he was voted off that like he wasn't thinking in general. But I mean, he's a good dude. But I mean, if you get voted out and you're in jury, you need to stay in jury and commit to the game. That's all I gotta say about that.
Unless you make Liza cry, and then I will execute you from the game.
Correct.
Exactly.
Does anyone
I
have
feel very
anything to
strongly
say
about jury members. So
does anyone have anything to say not about Forrest?
Did you ever hear back from Karen?
Thank you, Tricky.
no, I have still not ever heard from Karen. Nor have I tried reaching out after that. Yeah. Honestly, good that she didn't come.
You could have still let us vote for her, though. I mean, that would have been fair, but I'm not caught up on it. But
I tried to get Taylor to jump in, and then I found out that Taylor would have if I would have asked one more time, and I didn't know.
I will say it was really interesting watching it back because I was so paranoid about all of these different things, right? And I perceived everybody else's game totally different really than what it was. But it was really interesting watching you guys all just as paranoid, thinking the same things. I thought, I was kind of alone on an island in that, but we most definitely all had the same sort of overthinking insecurities happening. So I'll keep that in mind, going forward, playing any other games, I think is just that we're all really kind of feeling the same thing. So yeah.
I have a question for Jasmine. Jasmine, are you up? All right. So listen, I would have voted for you just like everybody would have said in the jury because I would have been like, look, this girl, amazing. And I saw, because I was just in the jury, so I didn't see much, but I saw you at that jury stand, like basically say, no, they say I'm done. And that's where the do you like to make girls cry question came from. Like, what is going on? Why does this girl think who's been fighting the whole time? And I know this even from the other side, never spoke to you, what on earth made you at that moment stop fighting? Or was it a stop fighting, or was it an actual like wall that you hit?
Yeah, everybody asked me that question, and I feel like I wasn't giving up. It definitely wasn't something I was going to give up after like days of just like really fighting my ass off. I really felt like at that point that the jury hated me, and it was like I had no chance to win. And I had kind of said that to Cameron, like, why are you going to take Brandon? Like, the jury isn't going to vote for me. But I guess I didn't realize that it actually was the opposite until I went to the jury and you guys were like, no, we liked you. We would have voted for you. That is definitely something that I kind of regret. But at the same time, I mean, Brandon, you know, it would have been so ridiculous for him to not vote with Cameron and Tony. Cameron and Tony were a blocked vote. Like whoever they wanted
Oh,
out,
yeah.
all they had to do was whisper to the other person, like me, vote for Brandon. I didn't want to vote for Brandon. Like my final 3 dream was going to be me, Brandon, and Cameron. You know, team no sleep till the end. That's not what happened. And you know, I'm happy with where I landed in the 4. But I didn't give up. I did hit a wall, but I did not give up.
I think you did awesome. I think it was fantastic.
Thank you. I do want to address something that a lot of viewers have reached out to me on. A lot of people have asked me if I had a crush on Cameron. No, I did not. Love you, Cameron. I did not have a crush on you. I absolutely played that idol. I absolutely played that idol for him 100% because I had no control of that vote. It was like, what? I'm not controlling this vote right now. I've been controlling so many votes. Like, nope, I'm gonna frig up this thing that they're trying to do. And I chose Cameron because he had a hand in the idol. I almost chose Brandon, but I didn't. And it worked out kind of, but in a way, I think maybe I would have gone further if that wouldn't have happened. So, you know, so many regrets in hindsight.
That's an interest. I want to wait because, like, if you hadn't played that idol for Cameron, you're breaking up a really tight duo that you didn't really know existed in Cam and Tony. So Cam goes home then at final 6, and then it's, well, you know, you're still in trouble there, Jazzy, but you still have
I would
your
have
idol.
still had my idol.
You would still have, so you would have been final 4 no matter what. If so you would have control then at final 5. I don't know why I want to play this out. You would have control then at final 5.
Becky would have won final 5 fire making.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
So then Jazzy needs to convince people to vote out Becky instead of her at final 4. You know, I think that's the game. It's like who's a bigger threat, Becky or Jazzy at final 4, which to me, I don't know. Both of them would have swept the jury no matter what.
Becky did have the underdog thing going for her at that time, which I think, you know, I would have voted for Jazzy in final 3 if it was Brandon or Cameron. But had Becky been there, she really like hung on and clawed through some stuff. So I think that may have been Jazzy's biggest competition.
We never know though, because I'm not good at giving speeches or public speaking. So like, I think Jazzy could have rocked that pretty well.
There's no
All
way
right.
of knowing. You're gonna have to play again.
Justin has a question.
My question is for Brandon. At final 6, you made a move to try and turn on your Lombard alliance. I was curious as what you expected that outcome to be, because best case scenario would have been a 3-3 split. And also, did you know that Becky was going to play an idol there?
So I knew Jazzy had an idol, and I was like telling Jazzy and Cameron to the side, ooh, they're gonna vote for me, they're mad at me. So I was kind of hoping Jazzy would play her idol on me that round. I remember standing there, and the scene where they show Becky, Becca, and Tony, and Becky shows the idol to Tony. I remember watching that from like across the field. So I don't remember who I was standing with, but I remember seeing her pull something out of her pocket and show Tony. So I didn't know for certain that she had an idol, but I remember seeing that happen. But no, I honestly went in, it was mostly like, if it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. I just kind of wanted to show Becky and Becca that like, I was not lying to them round before, and I wanted to prove that to them that round, so.
It's funny because there's that, I don't remember what episode it was, but there was that whole interaction between you and I where I'm like, for now you want to stay blue, right? And that was me probing you, like, come on, I want to work with you, but we need to flip. We're gonna flip. And so if you would have brought me into that vote, I totally wouldn't have played my idol, and I probably would have worked with you to vote out Cameron because he was a threat. It was like, for me, it was like I wanted out Brandon, Cameron, and Becky at that point, and I would have been down to do any as long as it wasn't me.
I tried so hard to keep everyone blue. Oh, sorry, Brandon.
Oh, no, I was just gonna say, it's so funny because like watching that scene back, like I feel like I remember wanting to flip on blue, and I think in the confessional in the episode, it's like me saying, "Ooh, it'd be fun to flip," and then you saying it'd be fun to flip, and then it's us two having that conversation, and we're both like, "We don't know what to do. We have to stay blue," and then we never like pull up like, I don't even know how to word it. We don't get the guts to tell each other that we want to flip. So like, I wish we did. And honestly, I think if we did, that Justin vote would have gone 1000% differently if we had just like told each other that we wanted to flip on blue. I think that would have been the round.
Jazzy did make it clear she wanted to flip. Like that was really clear. And you in your confessionals were saying you didn't want to go with Jazzy because she was too big of a threat, and you really wanted to flip and you wanted to keep that a secret. That's what that from watching all the fucking footage that I took all these notes on, like I'm so immersed in everyone's brains still. I wish I could erase it all, but that's where you seem to be as far as your confessionals were going. You're both of you, Jazzy and Brandon, talking about flipping the whole time, and Brandon saying, I don't want to go with any blues, lying to Jazzy's face, I want to go blue to the end, I want blue to win. Where like Cameron's actually trying to keep things blue strong. Like we would be idiots, he says, if this vote doesn't go right. But how exciting would it have been if you hadn't been so paranoid about Jazzy, Brandon, and you had told her, oh, instead of lying, Becky doesn't want to work with us, instead of lying, saying, oh, Becky really wants to work with us and flip with us, how much different would that, like, it wouldn't have been a pagonging that it was.
Right. Yeah, for sure.
But maybe you wouldn't have won, so it's a good thing you did it the way you did.
Right.
No decision is
Right.
bad for Brandon because he won.
Right.
It worked out for you.
I spent a lot of time trying to convince people to not flip. Like I feel like especially that Justin vote, like the reason why I was so upset is like I just spent a whole day wrangling these people to be like, no, let's just wait until day 4. Nothing crazy until day 4. And then Jazzy, you started all that shit like at like 11 p.m. and I was like, are you kidding me? Like right now, like we're so close to going to sleep, and just like day 4, we'll get a little crazy on day 4.
That really worked for me because I was toast. I hadn't slept. I needed a good night's sleep before day 4. So I was just, I don't know how anyone else felt, but.
Well, I slept in my Jeep on day 4, so.
All right. Does anybody have any other questions or anything to say before we end this reunion? Anybody want to virtual hug each other?
I'm a hugger. I'll hug you all.
It was so much fun to play with you all, so definitely virtual hugs for sure.
All right.
Yeah, what amazing
I
experience.
I think that, like, actually, I have to say, like, I talked to all of you. Like, I think I message almost all of you or interact with all of you almost, I don't know, weekly, daily. I just love it. Just some cool people in my life. Thank you.
It's funny
Especially
how 4 days.
reliving it
Yeah.
after the last 2 years. Who expected to relive this? Nobody. I had no idea this would come out in this way, and it's been so much fun.
It's like 4 days and you can become friends with people, and that's what I thank you, Liza. I mean, for putting all this together. I applied on a whim during my lunch break at school, and this is what happened. So thank you.
I have a question. How many of you intend to or want to apply for CBS Survivor? Even though you never. Well, if anybody wants some footage of themselves, I will make a little reel clip for you. Just ask me. I'll put it together. All your badass moments, all your great confessionals, whatever you want. Tell me what you want. I'll make it for you. And because I would love to see any of you on TV instead of
Just
YouTube.
as a heads up.
Can I have a quick?
Go ahead.
I just have a quick question. I think I'm like one of the oldest ones here. How many people watched Survivor episode 1? Nobody else. Yep. No, like in real
I
time,
did.
like the day it aired.
I did. Yeah, me too.
Like, okay, Brandon was like 4. Taylor was probably like 8. I don't know.
Thank you. Oh my goodness.
Yeah. I remember we had just bought our house and it was like, I was like telling my husband, I'm like, hey, there's this show on TV. Never applied, never had a passport. I don't know. Someday I will. I don't know. I like it was always like, oh, I don't have a passport. I just had a kid. I think now I'm going to do it.
Eric, can I tell you something? Like, honestly, this whole experience, I'm not a Survivor watcher. Day 1, we were doing something out in the field, running, I don't know, something horrible. You took off your t-shirt and were running in a sports bra. And I was like, oh, holy fuck. This is actually Survivor. The
I
girls
remember that comment.
I was like, what? What is happening? This is the real thing. Fantastic. You made the experience.
Someone had to match Forrest, right? Like if one shirt was coming off, another shirt had to come off.
I don't want to apply for the real Survivor. Not in good enough shape. What I want to apply for is the Biggest Loser. So if you can make me a reel for that, Taylor, I would totally do that.
I don't know if that show's still on the air.
I hope not.
Oh, it's not?
What about Big Brother? You could do Big Brother. You definitely have the personality for Big Brother.
Oh, you should.
Oh my
totally do
God,
Big Brother.
Jazzy, you need to do the circle.
The circle.
Oh no.
Yes.
No.
Circle.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
That's
mean. No, nobody should do the circle. That's horrible.
I want to.
It's amazing.
What? I want to do the circle.
I don't know what
Brandon,
that is.
you should.
I do Amazing Race just because I've never been around the world.
Okay. Can we? You and me. We'll do it together.
Yes, I like this plan.
All right. Any other questions? Anybody? Anything else to say?
I'll ask Toby, because seeing Sarah mentioned age, what was up with that, Toby? You were so offended that everybody voted you oldest and you thought that would be the worst thing ever, and then you immediately threw me right under the bus, like as if I wouldn't be offended by that.
Yeah, sorry about that. No, I don't know. Like, I guess I'm not sure what was going on there, but
Toby,
sorry.
are you older than you were 37 that day?
Oh,
Yeah.
way older than Toby.
I know Emily's older. You're my age, Emily.
Yeah, and Justin's over here
Fair
going,
enough.
wait, I'm only like 22.
He's 30, right?
And
Yeah,
everybody's voting me the oldest.
But was Becca older than you, or were you really the oldest, Toby?
I'm gonna be 39 in a couple weeks. 1 week.
You're older than me by a year. I'm 38, so yeah.
Over the hill.
It was a close run.
Yeah, but didn't everybody vote Justin like to be the oldest and he was actually the youngest?
1 or 2 people. Yeah.
Weathered, Justin, weathered.
All right. That is all the time we have for tonight. Thank you all so much for being here. Thank you for playing an amazing season of Survivor. It was such a treat for me to make this show, and I cannot wait to get started on season 3. So until then, bye.